In the results, we saw she won 57.3% of the Conservative Party members' vote. I mean, it's hard to argue that she's coming in with any sort of mandate. What does this mean in terms of her policies, of her backing headed until we get another election?
I think there's no choice but to tackle the cost of living crisis head on. What it looks like that might involve is a freeze on energy bills, but there are ups and downs to that. She needs to control inflation. Of course, energy is driving it, but it's going to be extremely expensive, and the question is where that funding comes from. If it's borrowing, lots of market commentators have warned about a crisis for gilts and sterling. But she has also indicated that she would want to have a longer-term plan for energy as well, and this would be the short term. But really, we're just waiting for the detail on what it would be. It looks like her chancellor would be Kwasi Kwarteng and her business secretary would be Jacob Rees-Mogg. But they will meet on Wednesday morning, and hopefully after that we'll get more detail on how they'll solve this energy crisis.
Yeah. Lizzy, and quickly here, you and I had talked last week about the new term emerging, Trussonomics, love it or hate it, but we know what the likely makeup of her government will be, as you mentioned. So what does that mean, what we know about the type of policies, the type of economic policy theory that she's going to approach this next year with?
Well, as we heard in the acceptance speech, it's this emphasis on low taxes. She said that she intends to govern as she campaigned as a Conservative. Many of her closest supporters, though, are wondering how all of this adds up when she wants to cut taxes, but also help with energy bills, but also increase spending on defence. Many of her closest supporters are actually saying that she'll have to U-turn in the first early days of her premiership, which would undermine her authority. But Trussonomics is defined by low taxes, but also this resistance to what she calls the blob, the economic orthodoxy that is the Treasury and the Bank of England. Throughout the campaign, she's blamed the BOE for the inflation crisis, and she said that she wants to review its mandate. Yesterday, though, she said that she was very strongly in favour of its independence. So markets will be watching very closely so that the institution's credibility on fighting inflation isn't undermined.